Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I just finished a video at the first Romanian president, Nicolae Ceausescu's grave and Elena Ceausescu's grave. And here is the grave of Nicolae Ceausescu and Elena Ceausescu. Go and watch that video. And I'm going to go to visit Corneliu Vadim Tudor's grave, a Romanian politician. Now, obviously, he's a far-right anti-Semite, and he's a bad guy, nationalist, patriot, and all that. I will tell you about Corneliu Vadim Tudor as I'm getting to his grave, and I will cover a few current political developments in this video. So not only I will talk about Vadim Tudor and what he did, what I think he did good, and what I think he did not as good. You see, I'm politically correct, not saying bad. And in the meantime, let me find the articles that I will discuss today. I have a few topics ready for you, so you can sign out whenever you want because you don't like the topics. So here, the first one. Germany threatens China. Can you believe that? Neither can I. The other one, Nigel Farage, a guy that I like a lot. He dared to say that the emperor has no clothes. He claimed that the West provoked Ukraine war. Right here, this is from CNN. I will go one by one. I'm just enumerating the topics now. Thousands of Iran-backed fighters offered to join Hezbollah and fight against Israel. Things are escalating big time over there, and maybe Lebanon will get in a little scuffle or Lebanon will be used as a proxy in the Middle East thing. All right, next one. South Korea said it might send weapons to Ukraine if Russia sends weapons, high-precision missiles to North Korea. Russia changes the FSB, Foreign Intelligence Director. Now that's a big change. That's the guy who is like the CIA guy, Foreign Intelligence. Then they have Russian forces pull back of Kharkiv front, according to this article coming from the Ukrainians. And Hungary backs sanctions against Russia. And I'm going to tell you why. Obviously, they get something in return. And then he says Moscow will smack proportionately the US for what they did with their consulate in Washington and New York. I covered that in a video yesterday. All right, so let's talk about this cemetery. This is Ghencea cemetery. And that's the entrance over there, or the exit. As you walk in, on the opposite side is a chapel. You go to the chapel, turn a little bit left, and you find Ceausescu's grave and Elena Ceausescu. Now, as you enter from there, you take a left and then a right, and you find out on the left Corneliu Vadim Tudor's grave. So who was Corneliu Vadim Tudor? He was an intellectual, and during the communist times, he wrote some, I don't know, you can call it ass-kissing services for the system, and many people had to do this or didn't have to do this, and he did it, like Adrian Păunescu. After the revolution, he embraced the nationalist agenda of Romania, and he formed his party România Mare, the party, and he also founded a newspaper and so on. He was a very well-read individual, very good orator, sometimes, exaggerating. I don't know his personal life much, in a way that how he behaved, like a tyrant or not like a tyrant. And I met him on one occasion. I have a signature on one of the books that I have. It's not his book. He was a poet, he wrote poetry, and not only. Are you greeting me? a crow. What? 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 Where are you? Show your face. Oh, here it is. Right there, on top of that. There's two of them. With the beaks open because it's very, very hot. Right there. It is about 36 or 37 degrees Celsius, and it is about 96 or 86 Fahrenheit, something like that. So that's the entrance. That's the entrance. You take a left. You get to this right here. You make a right here, and you're gonna go this little alley, and on the left is gonna be Vadim Tudor's grave, all white marble. So he was a nationalist, fought for Romanian identity, Romanian culture, and mostly against anything else that would try to destroy the unity of Romanians or Romania. And he had problems with mostly the Hungarians and others, but mostly with the Hungarians because the Hungarians had their own agenda. Here is the grave right after this. It's a lot of sun here, so I will try to do it from as many angles. I'm against the sun. I'll try to. Oh, there is the grave of Vadim Tudor. There is a poem of his right there. So he's on the left. That's a picture of him. 1949-2015, all white marble, and obviously the tricolor, the Romanian flag here and around his headstone. He's buried with his parents, it seems like. And here's a poem and his signature here. The same signature, I have it on my book right there. And I am not ashamed to say that I voted for him. I don't care, man. What, did you want Coposu, Iliescu, or whom? And he was not even then at that time. It says, mulțumesc, iubită mamă. Mamă, iubită mamă. Mamă frumoasă, primul meu rai. Fă o minune, te rog, mai stai. Dulce lumină, ram de măslin. Încă nu e vremea, mai stai puțin. So I think it's so he said, thank you, lovely mom, beautiful mom, my first heaven. Make a miracle, make a miracle, please remain. Sweet light, olive branch, it's not yet the time. Please linger longer, stay longer with me, probably. So here is Vadim Tudor, beautiful, beautiful. That's a son towards his mother. And if you can see it, that's about how I saw him. And I shook hands with him at the time. Anyway, so this is Corneliu Vadim Tudor. Let me touch this, as I always do. Okay. And let's talk about politics here, since we are among spirits who at one point were involved very much in politics. He was a European, in a European Parliament over there. He was a senator. Now let's go over this subject. I'm going to stay here. Right, like that. Let's rest this one here. Can I rest it? Yeah, I arrested, not rested. Okay. Hot, but it's okay. So let's see what do we have here. Let's start with the first article. Now Germany. Let me put my goggles. DPA International, and this is from June 22nd. 2024. German Vice Chancellor, not even the retard Scholz, not even that guy, warns China of consequences of Russia's stance. So Germany, who's bankrupt basically, it's in a recession, makes shit nowadays, and their standard of living is decreasing and keeps shooting itself in the foot daily, they told China that, hey, there will be consequences. Last time when I remember that was when I was in school and we had the teacher or the principal telling me, if you don't listen and you don't keep being a problem kid, there will be consequences. We're gonna smack you around. You, how did you say? Îi faci pe părinții de rușine. That was the one. You you shame your parents. They are ashamed of you, and that angered me a lot. Like, what the fuck do you know about my parents? Anyway, they knew about my parents because they knew. Anyway, next one. UK. Nigel Farage sparks outrage. Not at all. From opponents after saying West, quote-unquote, provoked Ukraine war. This is CNN. Rosa Rahimi, CNN, 22nd of June 2024. And here is Nigel Farage. I like him a lot, a lot. Yes, I think the West was part of that whole thing. And I think Russia, unprovoked, attacked Ukraine because NATO was at its doorstep. So you don't do that if you're a big country and strong country. You just leave yourself to be by others, right? No, you don't do that. You smack the shit out of them. You like that? I don't care. Here it is. Next one. Associated Press. Thousands of Iran-backed fighters offer to join Hezbollah in its fight against Israel. Well, if that will happen, the United States of America will be at war, like real war. And they can't fight a proxy war anymore. They have to send their boys to fight for their bosses. Who are the Al Capone's bosses? You know. Steins, Bergs, Mans, and so on. Next one. Insider. South Korea said it might send weapons to Ukraine after Putin signed the security pact with its biggest enemy. It's its biggest enemy because of the Americans being in the area, not because the Koreans cannot make a deal or they cannot understand one another. It was a time when America did not pay attention, and if you remember, what's his name, the president of the United States of America, Corneliu Vadim Tudor, he had a good relationship with Kim Jong-un. But these guys wanted war. Not only in Ukraine, not only in the Middle East, but also in the Far East. Wait for it, it's coming, it's coming. But they, I think, unleashed something through the Russians that they did not expect, and they're losing. We are losing. I'm angry. I'm angry. We are losing. Those guys, the guys in charge of us, supposedly, the guys that we voted for, the bureaucrats also, they get us in a big shit. The problem is they have the millions and everything else, and we have what? Only our freaking balls. That's what we got. Anyway, I don't want to have a heart attack here at Vadim Tudor's, and if I have, I don't care. We have to die any day, anyway, right? And South Korea warns. South Korea, first you impose sanctions. You helped, you gave them. What are you talking about? You're going to give. You were not neutral. You, South Korea, were not neutral. What are you talking about? Those trees over there, they look like up north in Michigan, where you have, but those are dead trees. Nevertheless, let's move on. Biggest enemy. His biggest enemy because of the guys from thousands of miles away being involved where they're not supposed to be being involved. Sergei Baseda steps down as head of Russia's FSB foreign intelligence. Now that's not good. Now I don't know if it's good or not, but you need to change the bureaucracy because they get too comfortable. That's one reason. And maybe, I don't know, he did not do his job properly, or maybe he's going to be transferred somewhere. He's going to be given a different assignment, sent somewhere else. I don't know. Sergei Baseda has stepped down as the head of Russia's Federal Security Service, FSB, Fifth Service, which handles foreign intelligence, as reported by the independent Russian news outlet Vaznia Istory on June 22nd. New Voice of Ukraine says Russian forces pull back from key areas in Kharkiv front. Do you believe that? I don't, but you know, you have to make sure that you have discovered. Why? I'm very sure over there the front now is on and off, like moving this way, moving that. And when something happens, these guys are, oh, we're pushing the Russian back. Maybe that's true. Let's see what these guys are saying in the first paragraph. Russian forces are withdrawing some units in Kharkiv Oblast for replenishment due to a loss of combat capability. Nazar Voloshin, a spokesman for the Kortitsia Operational Strategic Troop grouping, said on national television on June 22nd. We'll find out if this continues or not. It's just a one-time event. Next one, New Voice of Ukraine. Hungary backs EU sanctions against Russia after securing exemption for Rosatom's PAX-2 project. That is an atomic. So the Russians are building another atomic energy a reactor in PEX, right? I don't know if that's the way you PEX, pronounce it. 2 is number 2, Kaka, that means, okay, or PP, which one is it? I think Kaka. So the West allows the Hungarians to work with the Russians. That's why this war in Ukraine is a controlled war between the West and the Russians and the other side. Well, it's a controlled war. Here, we want to let you do business with the Russians and build your nuclear reactor over there, and the Russians will provide you with whatever you need over there, plutonium and whatever you need, and the energy. But hey, you are going to back our sanctions. Okay, deal. This is a bazaar. Where are, I know in politics, supposedly we are used to this dogma. There's no character in politics. It's, everything goes. You make a deal. That's politics. No. That's a kind of politics. That is a kind of politics. There's a kind of politics where the word is kept. A word between me and I never promise. I never say, I give you my word, I will do this. Or a promise. Why? You fucking take my word as I said it. I will come at 2 o'clock and punch you in the face. And that's it. I don't say, I promise I do that. No, I'm just saying it. I never promise. Never. Why? If you need me to say I promise or have my word, that means you don't trust me. You have the right to not trust me, but I respect myself. And I know I'm not a liar or a weasel. So I'm not going to play your reality. I will play my reality, which I will stand by my frame, keep my frame. Next one. The Hungarian government decided not to block the 14th EU sanctions package against Russia in exchange for saving the implementation of the Rosatom PAX-2 project. And here is the last article from Sputnik. Moscow pledges, quote-unquote, adecvat, în pixul meu, response if US closes Russian visa center. Yesterday I made a video where the Americans said that they will close Russian visa centers in the state of Seattle, Washington, and in New York. Not the whole thing, but they will close the centers, which is going to be harder for the Russian civilians to get visas and so on. This was done before. That's how the problem. That's how the Americans started. If you remember that infamous breakfast between Putin and then President Barack Obama, when Barack Obama, I think he visited Russia, if I remember correctly, that was because they ate a traditional Russian breakfast, and they were very not happy with one another. That was because, if I remember correctly, these guys wanted Edward Snowden to be just given. And Putin said, we can't give you that. Why? Because we asked you for some people in your country and you don't give those people to us. So unless you agree, and you didn't agree, you push the brake all the time into have the extradition treaties signed. The Americans don't want extradition signed, not the Russians. Then we're not going to do this. That's how the things soured. And then Obama said, we're going to sanction you with closing some consulate in California, or Oregon, in the West Coast. Anyway, that's how it started. A children's center, Russian children's center, and the Russians said, okay, we're going to do the same thing to you. And they did. And these guys in United States of America reported, oh my God, how do the Russians dare to do that? We are the guys in charge. And Putin said, niet, no, not anymore, no more. And that's how they escalated. That escalated in both sides, my friends. That's exactly how it was. Let me take you to the river and wash you down. I'm gonna go out, and in the meantime, I will just a little bit of conversation about I'll talk about Vadim Tudor and this thing. See you later. He was in my assessment, a needed politician, not only for those times, but for all times. His message, I think, was not the way I would have the Romanian nationalist message, but it seems like when you go to wrestle with pigs, you have to act like a pig, otherwise, because the pig will like it, and when they get dirty. So here is Vadim. He lived in Bucharest. He was born in Bucharest, if I remember correctly. He had a degree in sociology. He was a student in Vienna at one point. Very, very well read about history and literature, Romanian global world literature, not only domestic literature. He knew stuff. Now, his behavior at times was mahala. You would call it maybe ghetto kind of things. That's not good, very low, and that's something that did not sit well with me. Now, he was not doing that to overemphasize things like, for instance, I do, because when I want to overemphasize something, or I allow myself to curse. I don't curse because I can't hold it, but I want to express something more than I'm very upset right now. Okay, that's why sometimes, and I can keep it down. I have the training of. I have the training in keeping and controlling my speech and my behavior, but I don't want to. Sometimes you have to say certain things in a certain way so people back the fuck off, right? Or they understand that's more gravity in what you say. But I saw some videos with Vadim Tudor arguing really, really, really bad with some people that he should not have talked to, but that's all I can tell you. Oh, here we are. It's across from Boulevardul Ghencea. Ghencea Boulevard. You don't see it, right? Because it's... all right. So it's Boulevardul Ghencea. There's a street. Number 31. So across this big door, construction company or something, there is the entrance into Ghencea Civil Cemetery or Civilian Cemetery. All right, my friends. I survived this time as well. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. See you later.